Recording.
We're all set? All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order, Economic Development Commission. It's 7:02. And the attendance, Jim, you could sit in for Fred and for this meeting. And the minutes, I'd like to take and see if we could approve the minutes of January the 3rd. Has everybody had a chance to read those, or do you want to take and wait till our next meeting to act upon those minutes? Have you had them, Jim? Next meeting? Okay, no problem. We'll take and move on to the other things here, because I haven't read them either. I didn't have them, so I'd like to review them too. And, all right, the status reports from the chairman. Basically, the administrator's position, as you all know, that hired Sue, and certainly she has taken a very active role in getting things rolling here, and certainly been very happy with having the office. And Emmett, you've done a great job in getting Sue's office up to par here, and I think.
Except she's invisible around the corner. All you have is an open door to say what's in there.
Most people say, fire inspector here?
But no, I mean, it's a nice office, and I think it's really working out very well. And I think as time goes on here, as businesses realize that we have somebody so capable working for us here, that we will do well. And I'm going to just let you have a report a little bit later on in the agenda here. The Goodspeed Landing, the town office site. The RFQ is getting hopefully very close to being done. The last one I checked, Emmett, maybe you could update us a little bit on that?
I was gonna do that in the next, but we'll do it now.
Oh, okay.
It's been pretty much gone through. It's ready to go back to the lawyer. I'm doing a final review right now. About halfway through reading it, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And we'd like to get it out. We got some dates here. They'd like to issue it by March 1st. That's what they're suggesting now. And there's a whole series. Dates are in yellow because we may change them.
Okay.
That way we keep track of the things we have to adjust. But that's the goal, and with any luck, we're going to do that. It's going to be out.
Great, great. And I think that'll be certainly good to get it out on the street, and I think that that's what the revitalization committee voted to get it out on the street, and let's see what kind of activities we have. And
They have copies of it now. We're fired off the lawyer, and hopefully end up with a finished product.
Great.
Very quickly.
Great. And, well, I think that that's certainly needed down in the center of town. The landing certainly needs a little attention down there, and I think that let's hope that we get some responses here that we can work with and kind of get that moving along a little bit. I think that that is kind of what we've got going here so far. I think that we're seeing what the other businesses around town, and hopefully we can start to work on anything that I'm gonna hold off on my comments on that because it has to do with the plan of conservation and development. So I'm gonna let that go down further. The first selectmen's update, the building department. Can you just give us a little update as to? I've seen the ads in the paper, and
We've got 3 applications right now. They close the 21st,
okay,
and we'll be moving from there on out. Take a week or two to do the interviews and make a decision, and then probably a week or two for someone to come on board.
oh, okay, so you're in 30 to 45 days, you're hoping to have somebody on board?
You know, we're not doing this to do it next June.
Oh, great, right,
This
okay.
is, actually, I'd have liked to have seen it a little bit more soon, a
Yeah.
little bit more ahead of this, but I'm willing to live with it.
No, no, if we can see something next 30 days, boy, that would be fantastic, and,
So, as I say, we close the 21st, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it should take at least a week, or depends on when they can schedule.
Yeah.
Interviews and make a decision. Usually the decision's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then it's a question of what they have to give for notice, wherever they are right now.
Yep.
So that'll work out, I think, fairly well.
yeah, good.
Transfer station, we got a couple things going on. As of the 1st of February, bulky waste went to $120 an hour, or ton rather, from 100 where it was. One of the goals that was set by the committee, and we went ahead and did that. We had the RAM, I don't know if any of you were aware of it, broke down. We had a problem over the weekend.
Yeah.
Electrical, some sort of contact in the RAM, and we fixed that in the past ourselves, but in this case, the RAM was all the way back. Couldn't get at it, we had to bring in the people who were technically more proficient, and it's operational again now.
Oh, okay. What was it, just one day? That's that Monday you were down? Because I was in there and I see the
And
hopper
I was
was,
a little pleased and surprised to hear that. They're about to have the back door installed up there, which is something we've been years now without, so they can close it off and seal it up tight.
Yeah.
And when that happens, I don't want to get going ahead of that. That back gate that we closed is going to be open again.
great,
They
great.
re-welded everything, they made it safe. The one difference is going to be people have been getting into trucks and chucking stuff off.
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow that. You're going to get banned if you do that. I don't need somebody falling down in there and getting hurt. That's not going to happen.
So what, you keep the,
Stand off the truck and deal with it.
Mhm.
Use a hook and pull it to yourself and throw it over. I don't want people up there on a slippery truck right next to the hopper. People fall down in it.
Okay, yeah.
They had a fatality down in London that way back in 2014. A lot of questions about exactly what got him. We had been in touch a year ago with Kristen Brown. I don't know if that rings a bell with you or not. DEEP has a SMART program that they want everyone to implement.
Mhm.
And they've been pushing the daylights out of it. Kristen is their representative for that. She came by and got us started with the transfer study committee and everything. I was in touch with her earlier this year. She's going to be coming by in February, and we're going to set up a marketing program for the bag system, the SMART. That's kind of a cornerstone of what we're trying to do. The idea is that you pay for a bag. Anything that goes into the hopper, you buy a bag for it. Anything that's recyclable is free. And the important item there is to push people into the recyclables. We're doing about 24% right now. We should be capable of doing 50. I've seen 60, I've even seen higher in other places.
Wow.
It costs us $70 a ton right now for everything that goes in the hopper. You get $5 a ton for everything that goes into the recyclables. So there's a $75 a ton difference. That's big. We're doing 4,000 tons a year right now of material going up to Willimantic for waste. We're doing 3,000 in the hopper. We're doing 1,000 in the recyclables. We can save $75,000 a year just by recycling at a reasonable rate.
So we have a total of 4,000 of everything that's in the hopper, or everything, period,
All the stuff that's going up between the hopper and the recyclables.
is 4,000?
Yeah, 4,000.
And it's break down to 3 and 1?
3 and 1.
Okay.
And it should be at least 50-50. And just 50-50, we save $75,000 right on the spot. And this has been tried all over, working like a charm. Talking to John Pettipace, and he just bought Geese's place on Hemlock Valley Road.
Oh, yeah.
Moved in.
Yeah.
He instituted this program in 1992 over in Stonington. He runs the transfer station, runs that operation. I've talked to him I'll spend an hour in my office, maybe a little more. And he's gonna help us out, work with us. He says it's working like a charm. People love it. It's really fantastic.
Wow. So this is the town of Stonington?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so Kristen Brown's gonna be on board working with us. And she's the one that's really gonna put together the marketing of this whole smart, save money, recycle trash. This whole program, Asia throws another name for it, and all that. It's working very, Portland's got it, Essex does it, Salem's doing it right now, and any number of other towns.
Now, is this something that has to be voted on by the community, or is this something the selectmen do?
We're gonna establish a fee, which we're allowed to do.
How does it work in conjunction with
I'm sorry.
the haulers, like Jansky and those, anything?
One of the agreements we have with Jansky in Hilo is that they will cease to come to the transfer station once we have this in place. They will, from there on out, and they feel it's to their advantage. They feel that when you're buying bags and the cost of getting there and all that, there's gonna be a lot more people who are gonna wanna use their service. But at that juncture, they go where they want, they tip where they want. We're gonna help them out a little bit initially with the tipping costs and everything. A few months down the road, it's gonna be their bailiwick. We handle it, and we have nothing to do with it. And right now, our RAM, you'll see if you look at the budget, there's $80,000 in there for the RAM. The RAM's in trouble. Mechanically, it needs to be replaced. And Beth has come to me with that, and I said, look, if we're gonna go down the bag road, the haulers are gonna go away, we're gonna have a lot less volume. We restructure the whole thing with a whole different apparatus, a whole different device. Beth is of the opinion those compactors that we use for the recyclables, just take one of those. That's all we're gonna need for the stuff that's going in the hopper with the bags.
Wow.
And that's working in Portland right now, just on that level. Essex is doing the same thing, on that same level.
Wow.
It's gonna be a world of difference. Instead of 600,000, who knows how much we can save by doing all this. It's gonna be substantial. You'll hear all about it in the marketing.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Even your articles in the paper, I thought have been I think they've been, they're informative, and, I mean.
They're the introduction to this whole process. And I started planning that last fall. Would have happened last fall in Toto if we hadn't had the storm and the trees, which are, gotta get those under control.
But no, that's great to take and see that.
It's moving along at last.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's taken. As we all know, with government, it sure moves slowly. God, it must drive you crazy.
Well, you know, there's any number of things that have gotten in the way. I've had my own issues this past summer.
Yeah.
And that slowed it all down big time.
Yeah.
And those continue to be an issue for me. But
Yeah, sure.
it's under control now.
Good. Yeah, but no, it's all these things take time, though. That's for sure. You have anything else that you would like to?
There's other stuff, but I think those are what is of interest to you.
Okay, all right. And no, I think that both of those are certainly top priority here, and I think that with the haulers, I guess that it's just a matter of making sure that they're compensated, or certainly it'll be interesting to see what happens with this whole thing, whether they do get more customers. And
Well, they're pretty confident they will, and I think they're right. You think about it, it's gonna cost you arguably a couple of $1.50 or $2 for a bag,
Yeah.
30-gallon bag.
Yeah.
That's probably enough for the average family. So it's gonna be $2 for that. You're gonna drive 20 miles each way.
Oh.
You do that easy in this town. It's gonna cost you another couple of bucks for gas. They charge $7 a week. Hey, take it.
yeah.
A lot easier.
Oh, that's what they charge?
And that's what they're counting. That's what they're counting on.
Yeah.
Well, but they've also now got to probably make adjustments because they're going to pay the tipping fees, and they're certainly gonna have to go at least to Essex to unload. Because, I don't know, is our contract with Willimantic up this year?
Ends this summer,
This summer.
and the projection right now is it's gonna go up.
Oh.
Our costs are gonna go up.
Yeah, no question about it.
The place where they are gonna go up markedly is in the recyclables.
Yeah.
Because China no longer wants them, but no place in America to send them. Everybody's stockpiling this stuff, nobody knows what to do with it. And what we're starting to see is companies coming in to recycle or to process recyclables.
Yep.
And we don't, the problem you have that goes with that is all the manufacturers overseas now. We've lost our manufacturing base.
So even if we do end up with the plastics, what are we gonna do with the plastics?
And China's actually, some of them are coming over here and buying operations and setting them up.
Yeah.
And they take the plastics, recycle them, turn them into pellets, ship the pellets over to China.
So they'll take the pellets, but they don't want all
They
they want a finished product, not just a raw product.
Something that they can make a product out of.
Yeah.
Their goal now is, or requirement is 97.5% clean, pure, and nothing comes through that clean. So essentially nothing is going there. So the idea that maybe we can make the processed material and then send the material over there.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the angles. Then maybe, just maybe, the manufacturing will start coming back here. That's
Well,
what we
even
really-
if we just do the processing here, you know, and so we have a place to get rid of all the paper and all the plastic and all the glass. I mean, that's what I would love to see. Let's have our own production over here to do. Go
I
ahead,
have a
Joe.
question, will the haulers be taking recyclables also?
Oh, they already do.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, they'll
But
take,
they
just
will
as they
take-
do now.
So, okay.
They'll be handling both sides of it. So we're not gonna get any of that from the people who deal with the haulers. And there's a phenomenon, it's gonna change as time goes by. There's a phenomenon in Europe that's very popular, and it's, you pay for the recycling processing in the initial product. You pay up front when you get something, a little extra fee, and that pays for the recycling on the far end. And we're doing that here in Connecticut already. All your electronics, your computers. You buy a computer in Connecticut, it's a little extra fee, and that's the recycling to the other end, ECR or something is what they call that.
Paint stores are.
It's something-
Tires have done
Paint
it,
stores
forever.
and
Yeah, oils, yeah, it's, you know, we all have
But
that.
Connecticut right now is mattresses and electronics. Europe, it's virtually everything. And so that's, I think, a coming wave that's probably 10 years, 15 years away for us. I may not see it, but I think it's coming. That's where the future is. And you're gonna actually pay up front to get rid of it on the other end, then it all works a whole lot better.
Don, you had a question?
Yeah, the haulers now presently, when they go to commercial sites, they do have them do some separating. So there's some recycling that's happening. It's not as good as it should be, but it exists. And I'm not sure how they control that once it goes to them. 'Cause I'm thinking that when they take it to the processor, it all goes in the same truck. And they separate it on one of them live tables. So there's stuff that's gonna have to improve on that. When it comes to them taking the plastics and recycling them and turning them into pellets and shipping them back, what's gonna determine whether that's feasible or not is what happens with the import-export fees. And you know, this big thing with Donald Trump imposing 25% import tax. I'm one of the guys that got hit with that.
Yeah, the politics that are involved
But-
here are terrific.
What happens if you ship to China? I pay a 40% import tax. If I have a value of something that I ship there that's worth $100,000, I gotta pay a $40,000 tax.
To who?
China,
China wants that now.
China.
Is that new? Is that
No,
new?
that's new, that's old. That's existed for a long, long time. But coming to us, they were paying nothing, so now he's imposed some of this 25%, and everybody's thinking it's an outrageous fee. That's why China's willing to negotiate with us, because they know that their fee was outrageous. And what that did is stopped anybody from shipping product to them.
Right.
And building a presence there and taking some of their economy.
Right.
You know, and it's, that, all that stuff's gonna make a big difference with all that recyclable stuff.
So really, it really comes down to is why they're not taking it anymore is because they've got to pay 25% more for it.
Well, if they got, if they put a company here and if that company has to pay 40% to import it, you can buy raw material a lot cheaper,
Right.
so.
So nobody is going to take our product.
There's a whole bunch of politics that's gonna be in there before that happens, you know, and it affects what we do locally,
Yeah.
what the cost is.
Yeah, every town is going to end up with
Yeah.
this.
Trickles
Yeah.
down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's all Washington and Peking,
yeah.
and what they're doing is driving this whole thing.
Certainly with recyclables,
Yeah.
because it's kind of loused up the whole market with what it's doing. Now, if our contract is up with Willimantic, does this go out to bid does other
We can
companies have a
negotiate
chance?
with anyone we want to, and come to terms with them.
Okay, all right.
And I think we'll certainly be looking around to see what's available.
Yeah.
But you got, what is it, Mira in Hartford,
Mhm.
which is, I think they're back online now, everything, all their turbines failed.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. Oh, they were backed out the door with
And
stuff.
they are gonna be surcharging for the next 10 years to cover the cost of getting rid of what came in that they couldn't handle. So they're gonna be in trouble for a long time.
But I mean, how about like in Essex, because it would be obviously very helpful for the
Essex.
haulers.
Essex goes to Mira,
Yeah,
and the haulers are gonna have whatever they want, they can go any place they want, they're
Yeah.
not part of our contract.
right. But it will be a case of how much will they be paying to unload? Because they don't have the advantage, like now, there's an advantage, we could go over to Willimantic with it, and they'll take it because they're riding on the town's contract.
And right now, that happened over the past weekend. Because we were.
Oh, yeah, they must have had to send them
We
over
were
there.
heading up there, we were paying the tipping fees.
Yeah.
Once we get the bags in, once it's all settled down, they can go wherever they like.
Yeah.
And they'll negotiate the best deal that they can find, and go with that.
So that'll be the deciding point for them, that's for sure. But, all right, no, thank you for taking and updating us on exactly where that's gonna take and be. Sue, would you like to just give us a little update on the administration?
Wrote myself some notes on what I've been doing. Some of it will feed into things later. I worked with Bob on the plan of conservation development. I updated and verified numbers. I've got copies here of the latest for you if you need them for everyone.
Yeah, great.
Went to the LCR, which is the Lower Connecticut River ECD meeting, which is the group of Essex, Chester, Deep River, Haddam, and us. Basically, at the last meeting, what we really talked about was the cross information on the trails. Chester's updating a park, and Haddam's got some things going with some trails behind some schools along the river. And then Bob spoke to the trail that we're working on, trying to put together, you know, from the Goodspeed to Gillette Castle, and then it'll fall down into the ferry station. So everybody's on the same page as far as the need for that types of trails and that kind of, and they all like the idea that, you know, you take the steam train up, you can hike in Haddam, you can go to Chester, you can come over here, you go down, you can take the ferry back to Lyme. So regionally, the whole area is all on the same page as far as doing that and stuff. So that was what the conversation was there. I spent some time, and this will lead over into the tourism committee, so spent some time with the CT Visit folks. They came and they taught us a tutorial on their website, and just one of the things that they gave me that was really, in 2018, they had over 1 billion impressions from Connecticut Visit, with over 950 placements, and they had 5 million visits to the website, and they have 3 million partner referrals. What that means is they got a lot of attention going on. And part of what they've been working with us is how can we be a bigger presence on there. So I'm working with some of our businesses. They taught me how to be a partner and administer our town site. And then we worked with them to go out to the businesses and show the businesses that aren't on there or the ones that are. Put more pictures on, cross your references so that when we come up, it links to their web pages. it links to a business's webpage, and then it all filters into the whole, and the more pictures you have, the more pictures that they utilize and that they put into their website, and the more play you get. In order to, and also any articles or anything, if we put events on there and stuff, it feeds into their articles, and then you'll get more presence that way. So they taught us a lot of tricks to do this, and this is Jean Hebert and Rosemary Beauvais, who are the CT Visit folks, and they also do the Big E, and so they're asking for, maybe we could have a little bit of a presence there and such. They're who we're talking about with our visitor guides. Let us know if and when the visitor sites are going to be open again, which will make a difference on how many of those guides we get out, because we definitely want to be in those sites. They spent the afternoon. It was the day of the pouring rain, and so we gave them a driving tour of town in the pouring rain, and we saw a lot of down branches and stuff. But they really saw the way that it connects when we went down Parnassus. We showed them Smith Farms, where they've done the new field where they've got all the places where they can do events, and we went by the iPark and down through Fox Hop Yard, Devil's Hop Yard, and down through Fox Hop Yard. Came across, showed them the village, had some conversation with that. They're really familiar with some of the things, the castle, Goodspeed, Gelston House, but some of the other things that are what ties us all together. And then we showed them a lot of where the trailheads were and things like that, which, again, our tourism as we've decided, is based on, let's make the most of what we've got, so let's really tout that stuff. So we went to lunch with them. I think we built some really good rapport with them and such.
Yeah, if I could just interrupt in there, I think it was a very good meeting with them. They were longtime employees of the state. They were super knowledgeable women, and they really they looked like they wanted to work with East Haddam, and certainly gave us every indication that they feel East Haddam has a lot to offer. And I think bringing them up through iPark and seeing the whole iPark, they weren't familiar with that. They were very interested in iPark. They were interested. We went over the golf course, went around the golf course a little bit, and they were very impressed with the clubhouse up there, sitting up on top of that hill.
They were impressed that in pouring rain with all the branches coming down, that it's a beautiful place. And they said they can only imagine, either in the fall foliage or in the height of summer, just how gorgeous it is, and the back roads that, and the trails, and that's what we really have to offer. That's what we're, we talked about the farm stands and just the uniqueness of it.
But I think we have a good partner.
And this is my next piece. What a great partner we have. They had an opportunity that came up on a Tuesday, and they sent me right away and let me know about it on like 27th of January, and I had to have it into them by the 31st. They wanted a submission for the top 20 small towns to visit 2019 for Smithsonian Magazine's article. Last year it was Mystic, the year before it was Kent, and it's the whole United States, and that's not just from Connecticut. But your criteria is you have to be less than 25,000 people. You have to have a compelling reason to visit, and you have to be celebrating an anniversary. Well, 25,000 people or less, click. Compelling reason to visit, I used all the Rob Smith information about our trails and how many miles of trails, and then we've got the Only American Byway, and just lots of stuff that he gave me. And then the 100th anniversary, if you guys aren't all aware, is it's 100 years this year since William Gillette lived at the castle, so they're celebrating their 100th anniversary. So again, I just put together pieces of different parts from stuff, because their marketing firm was going to work on taking it all. So we got that to them along with some pictures. They dropped a whole bunch more pictures to them, and then we'll just have to wait and see. But that would be really cool if we got to be written up and stuff, and that would be a really awesome thing for tourism and stuff. But that's the power of getting on the right side of them, is because they said they thought of us right away. And I don't know what other towns that they put it out to in Connecticut. I'm sure there were quite a few, but to be included on that was nice that they're thinking of.
I think it was nice even just to be in the running and
to be asked.
Well, yes,
just to be asked.
Well, I think they saw that we have something here.
Yeah, and stuff. So, and I haven't heard from, again, ear to the ground. I haven't heard from our other partners up and down the river if they were asked to submit and stuff. So, that's that in itself, whether we win or not, is nice to be asked that, they see the value in us and stuff. So, the Chatham Health is just again, I went over it all, so I've just got that, I worked on it and I listed out the stuff. The updated fee schedule finalized, proposed budget to you guys, the meeting on Portland Library, the additional sanitary and the increase in the per capita, and just the educational components were all the things that, with that. Visits in the field, I've met with iPark, they want some input on, some different things, some different marketing, some different awarenesses and stuff, and so, Joanne Paradis is back with them instead of, Allison, and they've got the building down, across from Julia downtown, on Creamery Road, and so some of the things we discussed about were, how to get the schools here in East Haddam more involved in the program there, and get them to come and see the studios. We talked about maybe perhaps being able to do something with a partner, like after the afternoon matinees, they'd like to hold like maybe, for the folks that go to the show, let them know that they could come to the, and they'll have art displayed and such there on Creamery Road, lemonade and cookies after the Wednesday afternoon show, just to get a more of an awareness than just out at the iPark. They're looking to maybe, they'd like to have more of the towns be aware, so they'd like to maybe hold for the joint EDCs, they'd maybe like to hold just a evening with some wine and cheese and have people come out and see what their program's about and invite all of us. I met with the Moodus Barbecue, the new owner there. Again, he's trying to really change things up and trying to, get everything going. I worked with him on some health department issues. The grist mill, I met their department heads. Their owner is pretty absentee, and just leave that at what that is. EMP, he's brand new in town, and quite a few people have said to me, "Where's he at? I don't even know he was here." He's really struggling because his name is very similar to the prior business, Impressions, and he's getting a lot of hard times because they left on some unfinished work and some things like that and stuff, and so he's kind of struggling his name versus the others. So, that's who I'm getting the quotes from for our flags and our stuff like that.
Good.
But if you have a need for t-shirts for your business or sports teams or anything like that and stuff, he's a local guy. He's young in that business. His wife has Enchanted Massage that's up in the upstairs above Cadence. So two businesses new to the town, and they could really, use some support. He even talked about he'd really like to get to know some of the other businesses in town. Suggested maybe, do you guys ever do any kind of B2B stuff? And, I was going to talk with the business association because he'd really like to, get the message out that, he can do this for businesses and stuff. So
Excuse
I
me,
just
where's he
asked him-
located?
he's right where the
old bank?
next to Da Vinci, where the old kitchen.
Oh,
In the grist mill
In the grist
building.
mill.
Yeah, in the grist mill. Yeah, he's between the dry cleaner and Da Vinci Pizza.
right.
And stuff, and his name's Jacob Spurlock. He's a nice guy. I asked them all, first of all, who they are, ask them about their business and get all the information. Then I asked them if there's, any issues that they have, and I don't say anything to lead them down the path. I just ask them, is there any issues we can help with, anything they need from the town, and then I just ask them, is there anything that they can suggest or ways that we could help their business, and so that's the feedback I'm getting. Business of the month this month is Shagbark. They were in today's East Haddam News. I'm ordering the signs from EMP. The waving flag sign, I'm getting the print on that. It's going to be secondary to the tripod sign. And then we've got the two 2x4 banners that are going to be for the new business. We're going to have those be able to be checked out. So it'll be just a link, and you just go in, you let me know, like, he would be interested, Moodus Barbecue would be interested. 30 days at a time, first come, first serve. They check them out. They say, East Haddam Economic Development welcomes new business. They're vinyl. They've got the cords in them. They'll just hook them with zip ties or the front of their door, however they want to do it.
Mhm.
So we're not going to be hanging the signs. It's a service that they can borrow them from us. And so that, I'm looking at that. He's working with that, so we should be getting that back. I went to Getty Granite. We're working with the East Haddam Business Association, trying to put a memorial for Jack Herman, and I was looking at a bid for a bench. The Salt and Pepper, which is the granite from around here, they don't have one that's not polished. I was trying to get the more natural, but the bench is $7.95, and then for the lettering, which was just his name and the years in memory of, comes to $550. So that's $13.45, excuse me, and there won't obviously be tax on it. But we're looking to get an idea so that we can put something into the paper and we can ask, get some sponsorships and some, people sending in donations, whether it be, $5 or $100. and working on getting that put
Is that
together.
an installed price of $795?
I don't know if that is or not, I'll have to ask her that again.
Where would you locate something like that?
They were thinking in Heritage Park,
The walking trail.
Nice idea.
Yeah,
and we were having conversation, or, Emmett and I were having conversation, that we have more notable people, and as we get older and stuff, that would be nice, because a similar bench as you wanted to make that, Heritage Park, and Heritage is a good name that fits, but it would be a nice place to put other benches
Right.
as time went on.
Be a nice theme.
bless you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it would be,
Could be the start of a
well,
nice.
yeah, and let's face it, Jack was, I mean,
Jack
such
ate everybody.
a well-known, well-liked,
Yeah.
and I think that being in Modus is the nicest place we could honor him.
And having a tribute like that in a spot that, we could put him at over the years and stuff would really be like, wow, I want to do good by my town, because someday I'd like to have a bench there. I mean, that type of
Yeah.
spot, and so he's.
Don't want to rush though, don't rush.
Not next week, guys, but.
Don't go putting any names on any of those granite pieces now for us.
So, and then the next thing is Deb Mathiasen reached out to me, and you guys know her from the committee. She's gonna meet with me next week, just to bring me up to speed on what she's doing, and she's invited me to, an arts and culture meeting at 5 o'clock, next month on the same night that we have our meeting. She's not sure if it'll occur or not, but, again, I'll let you know if I try and go to that or what and such.
Sure, yep.
And then on March 20th, it's the state capital small business, open capital day to meet your legislators and such, and I got sent stuff from it. And I've got tickets. I already pulled 2 tickets, but I can pull more tickets if anybody here wants to go up to the legislature and do that. That's available.
Is this an annual thing that they have up there?
It is, and I don't know. I'm getting all the emails from the old, so I'm getting the emails from Peter, I think was his name.
Yeah.
And he was very well connected to a lot of different stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to sort through, what pertains and what doesn't pertain and stuff.
Yep.
But being able to go up and, see our legislators, see the other towns, and they're gonna be totally focused on small business that day.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be something that myself for sure, and if anybody on the commission wanted to go and stuff, we have
Yes.
tickets.
Is that the one where the individual business will have an opportunity to speak?
I believe so. I can forward you the information and the
Yeah,
links to it.
I think I need to go.
Okay. So, but like I say, that would be, and obviously, Irene just sent me a thing a few minutes ago and said, she's, sorry, she's not here, but she's tied up in another meeting, and that this is her favorite meeting. She wanted us all to know that. But obviously that day when we go up there, that's legislature and, she'll be there and stuff too, so that would be kind of a nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice for her
Yeah.
too to have
Um,
a support back there.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Tourism committee, again, I'm just gotta get some time to update the brochures, and then we'll do the brochures. I'm working with East Haddam Business Association on their April 27th Celebrate. Yeah, and they'll be meeting here next Tuesday night, for their meeting on that. And then, we'll get on our fall meeting, because we need to have dates and things so that at their fall, or their spring event, we can talk about our fall event. And then at their fall event, they're gonna talk about their Celebrate event, so that we market all of it.
Yeah, not good. That's what we want to do here.
Right, so, that's it for me.
Well, that sounds like you've been doing a lot.
I'm busy.
You have been busy.
Those 15 hours a week.
Oh, I'll bet you they fly by on you. And but I think you're accomplishing a lot. Joe.
Thank you.
And I think
And I'm
that,
enjoying it.
good. Well, that's even better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so.
I think that's great though. But I think some of these.
Learning a lot.
Yes, but you're also making great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, these are great contacts, and I think that Visit Connecticut group was very advantageous. I think that they're going to be looking to
Yeah,
work with you.
There's a whole lot of partners out there that really wanna, help, and are chugging for us and stuff. They think we have some pretty cool stuff. So.
We got good stuff.
Yeah,
we do. We got
and the fact that when, economic development, it's like there's not a lot of that going on right at the moment, although we've got stuff with the village and stuff, but making the most out of what we've got in our ruralness is just, you know, that's who we are and, you know, proud of it and come see it.
Well, look at the castle, I mean,
Yeah.
100 years old, I mean, that's huge, I mean, that's gotta be on the front of everything, Gillette's Castle being 100 years old this year, and, you know, right here in East Haddam, we've got, it's pretty darn good.
So just the last thing, if anybody wants to see what we submitted to the, Smithsonian, I've got a copy of it here, so if
Oh.
anybody wanted to read it for whatever reason,
Yeah,
but
no, I think it's just nice that we're there, and,
we'll see.
and, well, we got our foot in the door.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that would be very cool. We wouldn't know what to put on the front covers or anything. It was the 100th anniversary, or which one?
Walking up a trail to the 100th anniversary.
Right, or the top town for the small towns. Pretty big honors, whichever way we go here.
All right,
But,
so that's my two.
well, no, thank you very much, and I think that.
Keeping it going so we can get out of here, right, guys?
Yes, absolutely. See if we can't roll here. How are we doing? Oh, okay, not too bad. The expansion of the IG zone, that was around basically the Shagbark area. I know that they're working with the engineers and architects on the building itself next to Shagbark. Basically, Fred has been away, so I don't think much has been going on with the expansion of the industrial area up by the power lines. But I think that Fred's supposed to be back this coming week, and so I imagine that we'll be talking about that some more and getting into a little bit more about that. But I know they are into doing the architectural work on the new addition, which is somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 additional square feet, right next to the Shagbark Company. So a nice expansion for Shagbark, and so I think that that'll be a nice little addition to the town, and that's all basically it's retail space. So I think that we're getting a nice little boost in our commercial space right there at Shagbark Company. The Chatham Health Review, I think we've gone through that, and I think we're in good shape with that. The Plan of Conservation and Development, see if you've got copies of.
Yeah, and you know, this is even, because I've updated all the, oh, would you pass those that way and I'll take them over that. This is just a rough draft, you guys, of what the EDC is hoping to.
There, we'll get those down there.
Yeah, I think
And,
you guys there? Nope, there's just one, there we go.
so we put together basically the Plan of Conservation and Development. P&Z was looking for all the committees to basically submit something so that they can use that as a basis for writing the new Plan of Conservation and Development. There is a meeting coming up on the 13th at 7 o'clock. That's Wednesday night in this building. This went out, this notice went out in the East Haddam News this week. So I think that what they're gonna do is have,
Last one was cool, you guys.
it was very well done.
hands-on and- Yeah, you should go, it was really well done.
Yeah, and so now they're gonna kind of have, this will be the final before they start to really actually start to draw what they're, or draft what they're actually going to be presenting to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So basically, we were just looking over what we did this 2 years ago. Mostly everybody hasn't done it in 10 years. But we did kind of get ahead of it a little bit, and so we went through it. And then Sue and I went through basically the proposal that we were making. We wanted to update basically all the numbers and bring them up to today's dates, and then look over basically what we were looking to have happen in each one of the commercial areas.
And you guys just look at the numbers that show the numbers for the grand list, and that was the biggest change, was on the commercial and industrial really shrunk, and the exempt grew a couple points from where we were. So those numbers, when I looked at those numbers, those changed, and then lower on that page, the numbers changed also on what percentage of retail and services and such, that those changed a couple percentage points, but other than that,
I think for us, a big one is the grand list here. The grand list, 84% residential and 4% commercial. That is probably one of the smallest in Middlesex County. So I think we really need to work on how we can make the commercial side of this be more attractive. And I think that Emmett and I were talking this week about the tax incentive program. We haven't had really anybody get very excited about it. I've talked to businesses about it, and they're not taking advantage of it. It's just not quite interesting enough, and so I'm gonna ask the Economic Development Board to take a look at this and see what we can do to make it a little bit more attractive. I think that somehow we've got to get this grand list so that we're doing a lot better than 4%. That's
even marketing what we have has not been done good.
No.
I mean, even if we don't even change the criteria of it, we haven't marketed it well enough, so it's
No.
not out there that even, like I say. It's
No,
just-
it needs to get a second look at it, and then we need to see what we can do to basically make it so that it's more inviting. I mean, some of the, it's not a whole lot of investors that we have to deal with in East Haddam, so it's pretty small group of people. And I think that we need to interview those people and find out what it would take to be of interest to them, and see what's missing so that they could get excited about it a little bit, and maybe we can get some investment in the commercial or the industrial type of properties here. But we definitely need to take a look at it anyway.
Bob?
Yes.
Yeah, it's worth keeping in mind, residential typically costs somewhere between $1.05 and $1.15 for every dollar of taxes you collect. Services provided exceed what they're paying for.
Right.
Business, probably your neighbor 40 or 50% of what you collect actually goes out in services.
So you're getting 60%
I
into
mean,
the
they-
till.
Basically, your businesses are offsetting the excess cost for
Right.
residential.
So you spend 60 cents for every dollar that you get from your businesses, where you spend $1.15 for all your residential.
Yeah, well, it's anywhere from
Roughly.
$1.05 to $1.15
Right,
depending.
but roughly.
And, but it's certainly well in excess of what you're collecting. And we really do need that business space, because that's always a cornerstone for a town, and we lack it.
Yeah.
Open space is wonderful, but you get a nickel and a dollar in terms of what you might get if you're doing something else.
Yeah, no, I think that
Gotta pay the bills.
that's certainly an area that economic development needs to see if we can and get a little activity in this area. And so you updated the acreage and so
That
obviously
acreage, the acreage didn't change any. There's a 245 acre difference on something that's going from commercial, or from open space or commercial to open space, and it hasn't come through yet. It's not recorded on the book, so Jim said not to change it. But other than that, but the difference is 265 acres. It's not a drastic difference, so.
it wouldn't even hardly show up, that amount. But so then we just briefed into, I mean, we basically took the Goodspeed Landing area and brought out some of the things that we'd like to see there. Also the Four Corners, what we were hoping to do there. Muda Center, what some of the things we saw as the main objects there. Certainly the Brownell Company is always one that's sitting out there that it's a lot of square footage. It's almost totally unutilized, and it's one of those things that certainly needs some assistance, and it's one of those sites that has or potentially has contamination on it, and it needs to be determined. It's never had a phase one even, so we don't even know what it's got, and so nothing can happen there until basically, and I think that it's going to be up to probably the economic development to see if we can attract some grant money, to see if we can do something with that property and get it back working. Because it's a lot of square footage there, and it's in a great zone.
And something that I learned just recently is the brownfield grant applications have to be in by the 31st of January. So for this year, we've missed that cycle. I found out like on the 29th of January is when I saw that, and that came through in an email to someone else that just came to mind. So we need to keep that in line, that there is an annual time that those all get submitted by, and it has to be, so we have time to think about it and to submit something for it and to look for those grants, but this year it won't occur.
Right, but it takes us
Up
6
to
months to
6
get ready
correct.
to present.
Correct,
And,
but there is a timeline, so by January 31st, 2020, we have to have it ready.
We
to
gotta
go.
be ready to roll.
Correct,
And,
so there is a deadline.
so I think that some of those are the things that, we need to see. We are seeing some activity around the Four Corners, so I think that there's a little bit going on there. You've got Staley's going on just a little south of there, and we are proposing that we take a look at the property south of the industrial area and see if it could be a village district or a light commercial area. I think we're looking for something that's very restrictive, but also give some of the property owners there the possibility of using their properties for a business use. One of the other things that we're looking at is to see if Sunrise Resort can be utilized better. It's something that I think that the town should have some input into. I think that we've never suggested to the state what we think it should be, and what we could do with it. I think it's kind of just sitting there because nobody's, the state's certainly not gonna go spend any money on it, but I think we need to come up with a plan of what we could do with it. What does the town of East Haddam wanna do with it? And what would we like to see over there? And just make that known to the state and see if we can get them to move in that direction. And so I think that probably those are the major items that we're looking at to see what we can do, and the rest of it is assisting with agriculture as we have, and I think that that's not something that's gonna really hit the grand list of agriculture, but it's something that's a nice addition to the town, so we certainly wanna support it. So as you look through this, if anybody has anything they wanna add to it, anything they think shouldn't be in there, anything you wanna have, by all means, let myself or Sue know, and we can include it. And but this was.
I'm just numbering the versions. We're up to 3 so far. So.
But so I think that if we've got anything that we want to do, probably getting short on time now.
And again, this is from our perspective as a group, because as they do those, they've hired the consultant, and as they do those interactive things, then they're putting in a lot of what the folks in town and stuff want. So, this is from this group, what your suggestions were and stuff, so how it works into the overall.
No, we have no control over that. It basically then goes into the consultants, and then it goes to planning and zoning, but I think it's important that we let them know what we're thinking and where we're thinking there's some opportunities. And, because this is for the next 10 years, so.
And that's why we verified all the facts and stuff, is because we wanted to make sure we weren't giving things that
Work right.
were 4 years old. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So it's all current.
So yeah, it's worth reading into a little bit and take a look at it. And as I say, if you want to add or subtract or anything, by all means, just get back to myself or Sue on it, and we'll certainly add it or edit it out of there. The business of the month, we're looking for nominations. Sue, do you have any particular businesses that you think?
My recommendation this time is again, based on someone who's long time, done much for the community, and maybe has renovated another business or a building and brought some life and some such. When I look at everybody and stuff, mine would be, the Middlesex, doctor's offices that moved down there and has that, redid that whole building and all that and stuff.
Yeah.
And, that office has added, 2 PAs, Dr. Gorley, they've added nurses, they've expanded their staff. And they're, again, another partner in this town that's pretty vital to have a doctor in your town. And a lot of towns and such, that's not necessarily true anymore.
Yeah.
And as we have to drive 20 miles just from our home to get there, think what it'd be like to have to drive 50 miles to go to another town to get your doctor and stuff. So that's where, when I look at the list, that's who I
think that's,
Anybody else?
well, I think that's an excellent suggestion, because that was an empty building.
Yeah.
And so it was, it was really good that they got somebody in that building, and fortunately, it wasn't very long. It was a daycare, and the daycare went out, and so I think it was less than a year before Middlesex actually bought that building.
Yeah, and they've partnered with them, and their services and stuff are really changed now that it's still our small town doctor, but with a bigger entity behind them and stuff. So that's brought that modern medicine, for quote unquote, and things. You can have your lab work done there and all kinds of different things that they have going on and stuff that makes them a good partner.
Well, and it's obviously made it so that they can offer their doctors a
Right.
lot more in the way of benefits,
Right.
because they're part of the hospital.
Right.
Great suggestion. Anybody else have anything they'd like to nominate, or?
I haven't given it much thought.
No, I'd like to second that nomination.
Okay.
I think that's a great
Guess we-
suggestion.
we need to
Who
make
made
the
the
Yeah, I was
nomination.
gonna say,
I'll
make
make the nomination.
okay, you make the motion?
Go backwards here.
Okay, all right.
We'll figure it out.
For the business of the month.
Okay, the business of the month, and
I'll second.
still second that?
Yeah, and it's gonna be the Middlesex, and I don't know what their exact name is. I wanna say urgent, but it's not urgent care. But it's not.
Primary care.
Primary care. It's not one specific doctor. It's the Middlesex Primary Care Office. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And, all right, all those in favor of Middlesex Primary Care being our March business of the month?
Aye.
Aye? Pass unanimously. I'd also like to, under new business, nomination for a regular member. Sue has stepped down, so now there's a vacancy in a regular member, and I would like to nominate Jim Femina for that regular membership. And Jim's been doing a great job with us, and I'd really like to see him be a regular member of the board. So I'm going to throw that on the table.
I propose we make that recommendation to Emmett.
Fine, there's the motion. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second that motion.
All right, great. Ralph seconds it. And so all those in favor of Jim Femina being the regular member of the EDC, and with the recommendation to the selectmen for that appointment? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, motion carries unanimously. We also now have a vacancy in the alternates, and we got an application that came in from somebody who's very familiar with us. It's Mike Robidosh, and he's with the Business Association. He's certainly been at our meetings, and I think Mike would make a great member of EDC. I've had several talks with him, and I think that he's very interested in working with us, and I think it would be a great combination between.
He also represents a different sector of the small home business.
Yeah, because basically he does work out of his house, but he also
Has an office, right?
has an office. But he's certainly the small-time business person in East Haddam too. And but I like the idea of having the coordination between the business association. I think that's the strongest thing that we've developed over the last year and a half or 2 years, working with the business association, and the relationship is getting stronger and better all the time. And I think that that relationship just makes both boards certainly more productive, and they're looking for us to help with their things, and we're looking for them with manpower and knowledge of what the business community is feeling out there. So I'd like to throw Mike's name in for a nomination to the Board of Selectmen, to nominate him for as an alternate member of Economic Development.
So proposed.
And I'll take that as a second then, and so a motion and a second, and all those in favor of that nomination of having Mike become an alternate member of EDC? Aye? Right, great, and so we'll take and send something over to the selectman's office, and at your next meeting, maybe you
I
could.
suspect we might approve it.
I hope so, because they're great, and public comment, anybody in the public have any comment out there?
Yeah, did I miss something in the legal notice or the publishing of the meeting about the Chatham Health District discussion? Obvious that I walked into a meeting that was already happening.
Yes, yeah.
It wasn't a public meeting?
Yeah, it was a public meeting.
Was it public
Yeah,
meeting?
now,
Okay.
did we have an agenda? Yes, we did?
We did not, because of the format of the meeting and such. It was not a public meeting. It was more of like a work session and such, and that's what
Work
we thought.
discussion,
Right,
that's what I
correct.
understood it to be.
Okay,
Correct.
all right. Okay, but
Right.
when we have those, we do
When
need
it has,
to.
when it is a public meeting, it will be a public meeting.
No,
yes.
no, we need to, if we're gonna have a
Correct.
get-together, we
Yeah.
need to have an agenda
Correct.
set for that, and so, yes, there,
The
And-
reason question to that is because you know my opinions of the Chatham Health District, so
Yes, you're welcome.
I'd like to have heard the report.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and we'll certainly can make that available to you, and so, and but yes, I basically talked to the administration about how we structure that, and I know you did too, and so we will basically structure
And
that.
if you would like to fill in the blanks, or you have any questions and stuff, I have everything that we have and stuff, and I'd be more than happy to share that with you and such, so.
Yeah, let's make up a copy for.
It was kind of in translation of a new person in position, so again, we're getting it the right way, so again, I apologize.
It's okay.
And if you need any information, I'd be happy to share it with you.
But all right, anybody have anything else they'd like to add to the meeting, or any questions, comments?
Just next month's agenda, can you please put on website?
Put it on the website.
Put the website on the agenda.
Oh, the website on here, okay, because
Yes,
we're gonna
because-
be working on the website?
I just need to have some conversation about it, and it's not on there, so just next time if we could do that, that would be excellent.
Sure, yeah, we'll do that, and, because I think that that's something we want to get on, and I don't know what the timing is on that.
So that's the EDC website?
Yes, ma'am.
It'd be EDC's website?
ED
Or-
web.
No, the.
The town's
ED
website.
The town website, but the EDC
Section.
section of the town website. Yes, just feedback on
Will do.
it. Next
We'll-
meeting.
Okay, we'll put that on,
Nothing urgent.
we'll put that on the agenda, so we have it. All right, if there isn't anything, oh,
Yes.
yes.
I wanna get back to, we nominated a business as Business of the Month.
Yep.
And recognition in the newspaper and stuff.
Yep.
I don't know who's gonna do that. We
Basic-
had somebody that did a tremendous job before, so I don't know who's gonna,
Well, it's been,
Right.
it's,
submit it to the newspaper.
yeah,
Who's
okay.
gonna handle that?
Yeah, basically, that's been getting into the newspaper, Sue's been getting it to the newspaper.
Sue's not a member of EDC,
No, she can
She's-
do that as
but
the
you can do
administrator.
that
She can,
in that
that's, the-
capacity? Okay,
yeah.
I can do
great,
that.
then it
Yeah.
still gets there.
oh, yeah,
Yes.
yes,
What the concern was.
Yes,
yeah.
And the other thing is, I know why you're here, you know, because of businesses and, you know, seeing what you could do to give back. Jim's, you know, that little older, and I'm sure his is the same sentiment, mine's the same, you know, it's a great town, we wanna see what we can get back. You're here for that reason, and from the time I've been here, and the amount of growth in this committee, and the interface with town stuff, and the development of, you know, the business committee, the newspaper, those three things, I think, the three biggest things that's brought this town together in the last several years. And I'm proud of everybody here.
Yeah.
And our selectmen.
And I have a comment on that. I don't know how we did without that newspaper, the East Haddam News.
Yeah.
I look forward to reading that when it comes. Even this week, it was even better. I mean, there was a lot of things of interest.
Well, certainly from the standpoint of the newspaper, it's quite the little project to put that paper
Yeah.
out. I had no idea what this publishing business was. But it's very interesting to be able to get the information out, because we didn't have a way in which to get any news out there. And even just like, this week having the business of the week in there, I mean, it's nice to open up the paper and see a business featured, and I think that, you're at all of these, and every one of the businesses said thank you to us, and really, it's a feel good for these businesses, and I think it's just one of those things that is nice.
The business owner, when I go and tell them that we've nominated them, they're kind of like, and stuff, but then the morning when they take the picture and everybody's there ain't a one of them that's not just beaming, you're like,
No,
It's pretty cool to see.
No, I think it's been really a very good thing for this board to do, to recognize somebody, and I mean, Fred is hard to get a smile out of Fred, and yet he was
He was
pleased.
up at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, he was at the
He
store.
tried to talk me into noon, I was up at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, he's not a morning guy.
But no, I think that it's certainly been good, and I think that having the
And-
paper to get that out has been helpful.
We can't get it done without public comment too,
Yeah.
and it's important, and a lot of people don't get out and do it. It's just, so the few that do, I know I appreciate it,
Yeah, no, it's very
whether
helpful.
I like it or not.
No, it is.
Generally like it.
Well, it's certainly important to do.
Yeah.
And,
Are you looking for another alternate? Not that I have anybody in mind. We had two,
Yeah, you're right. We do
We've
have
We've had two in
two.
the past.
are now members.
Yes. So we should have one more alternate position available, yes. So if anybody knows of somebody who might like to work on this board, certainly let them know, and that we would be very interested in having them be a part of it. And I think that having a full board is very helpful, and when we go to do things, that's for sure. All right, any other comments here? Certainly appreciate all your comments and your time, and,
Needs to adjourn it.
I make a motion to adjourn.
all right,
Second that.
all right,
You guys, an hour and 10 minutes.
all right. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
We did it.
All right, yes.
What are you gonna do with your extra time?